Hi, All Saints. Thanks for joining us for our Thursday vlog. Dustin and I wanted to come to you with some real-time debrief of our first Sunday going to 3 services last week. So Dustin, we did it. People were here at all 3 services. How did it go?
Yeah, thanks for asking. I thought it went really well. It's is Thursday as we're talking, so I've had several days to hear from other people, and I think what was stood out to most people was how surprisingly unrushed both the services felt and for the congregation and between the services felt as well. There's a lot of opportunity, which I know you'll say more in a second, but there's a lot of opportunity to kind of hang out and get coffee. And so that was great. I know people got to see folks at other services at that coffee time because there's about a 15-minute window when a service lets out and the other service comes in. So you're just kind of bumping into people you usually don't bump into. So that was exciting. And then just the worship, was powerful. God is present, and the things that we come expectantly to receive every week was present last week as well. And so I think by and large, it was a very joyful and successful trial. This 3 services. I wonder, though, as I wrote down questions to ask, so I'm going to casually look down. If you would remind us, Erin, why we did this. It went well, but why did we do it in the first place?
I had a moment of asking myself the same question, being not a morning person and arising a bit earlier than I normally do on a Sunday. But really the reason that we went to 3 services, I can tell you honestly, is not a church growth strategy. It's not part 2B of our 5-step plan for growing All Saints into a mega church. It just honestly has come out of our sense over the last, honestly, I think about a year that we've just been seeing continued growth in the service to the point where if you show up a couple minutes late to service, you might not be sure where you're going to be able to sit. If you bring a friend, not sure if there would be space for them. And honestly, the sense that I had on Sunday was of being a host at a gathering and just wanting there to be more seats at the table. Our 9:30 service was particularly full this week. And I just had the sense like, I want everyone who comes in these doors to have a place to sit. And that's why we were so excited to see 60, 70 people at the 8 a.m. service, because it gives space then for more people to join us then at 9:30 and at 11. So wanting there to be a sense of hospitality and continued welcome for folks at our church without having to give up the things that we enjoy about our church, what the service is like, the space to connect with other people. I will say, being in the same staff meeting you were in on Tuesday, Dustin, having a third more services, what is that? A 50% increase, English major. But with the increase to 3 services, there are definitely some more opportunities for service within Sunday morning that have arisen. So I wonder if you would share a bit about that, Dustin.
Yeah. Some of the needs are not going to take that heavy of a lift to meet. One of the kind of obvious ones has to do with parking. Because we don't have as much time between the services, the parking lot is getting congested, which is something we had foreseen, but it's just going to take kind of continual habituation of us all to meet that need. So this need is super easy to meet. The parking lot behind me, the convention center, is just over my shoulder here. That lot just across the street is available to us, totally free for congregants to park there. You see a little parking tag, which we can give you. You can keep throughout the week and just use it every week. We're trying to save the lot as best we can for families with kids and those with mobility issues and visitors. And then everybody else can park across the street. Truthfully, I've been parking there for a while. It is not a longer walk from that lot to our front door. There's a security guard there who is serving kind of as a crosswalk guard. So that need's pretty light. The other need maybe slightly more tricky. You mentioned the 9:30 was very full. We had to bring out folding chairs. I'm hoping the fire marshal doesn't listen to this. I don't know how totally code compliant we were on Sunday. It's a good problem to have, of course, but we were hoping those 70 folks we took out of the 9, put in the 8, we were hoping that would open up 70 spaces in pews. What happened was we had well over 70 folks from the 11 service come to the 9:30. And then amazingly, we had many, though not all, of those seats taken up again by the 11, meaning we had more people on Sunday, even as we spread the congregation over 3 services. So all that means practical ways that the congregation can help. And I just want to say briefly, it is amazing how many people have asked, just with such cheeriness and humility and kindness, have said, how can we help create a space of hospitality? Real quickly, a few ways. One is park across the street. Second is, if you're able to come to the 8 a.m. service, that would be ideal. If you're not able to come to the 8, if you're able instead to go to the 11, that would be wonderful. That would open up some space in the 9:30, which is we never turn someone away in the Bible. They cut roofs off, and if we have to do that, I suppose we will. But we're hoping to open up some space at the 9:30. So if you're able to do 8, that's ideal. If you're able to do 11, that's great as well. But if 9:30 just works best for your family, like, that's obviously fine. We'll figure this out together. And then lastly, at the 9:30 service, I don't know how many kids we had, well over 100, certainly. And so we have some real opportunities for us all to fulfill our baptismal vows of supporting the congregation as they grow in the faith. So I would love to talk to you about that. I know Robin Turner, our children's director, would love to talk to you as well. But for us to keep offering the sort of intentional, robust, formative discipleship to our kids that we have been doing, it'll take more volunteers, especially at the 9:30 and the 11. So those are some needs. And the thing about all 3 of those needs is they're eminently meetable. And so all in all, as we iterate, our executive administrator, Mike Blanchett, often says Sunday comes each week. So we'll have many opportunities to figure this out together. And I know and I'm confident that with God's help and by the Spirit, we can meet all of these needs.
Absolutely. Well, in closing, I just want to say we're excited to see you guys again this Sunday. We're excited as we continue to get our footing and just figure out what the 3 services look like. I think what Dustin said earlier is that there is a real opportunity for fellowship, especially if you've been attending either the 9 or 11. You might not have seen your friends who go to the other services in a while. Well, this Sunday, you definitely will get a chance to come a few minutes before your service, stay a few minutes after, and there's a real opportunity as services cross for people to meet. I don't know if you've noticed that there's some construction happening at the church, but by God's grace, the construction is winding down. I think what we're left with is actually a space that's going to enable us to spend more time, not less time, hanging out here on Sundays. So if you notice, we moved the playground, which was in the middle of the parking lot in a very hot and sometimes desolate space, to the side of the church that has the coffee bar and the opening into the narthex, so that parents can linger after the service, connect with one another, have a second cup of coffee. And you should definitely pop upstairs to see the new children's classrooms that are completed. I'm sitting in one of them right now. We have great space that God has given us to welcome people in, and we're excited to see you on Sunday. So come, linger, enjoy what should be nicer weather, and we look forward to seeing you preferably at 8 or 11, but also at 9:30 this Sunday.